Hey everyone, we're here for another quick conversation for the long haul of leadership with Tod Bolsinger. And we are looking at a quote today from episode 282 with Erin Devers. The title of that episode is The Cost of Bias in the Church. And here's what Erin says. She said, one of the strategies for reducing bias is to go bigger, to widen your perspective. One more time. One of the strategies for reducing bias is to go bigger, to widen your perspective. Okay, let's start with the question, Tod. What do you think keeps us from widening our perspective? What makes that hard?
Well, two things make it hard. Number one is we like our biases.
Yeah,
Right. We don't want to admit it, but our biases are comfortable for us.
Yeah.
We have a bias because we think this is the way the world works. This is what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
We get a narrow perspective because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
So one of the things that makes it really hard to widen your perspective is our fear of being uncomfortable.
Mm.
And I thought about this a lot because I spent the last year living in New York City, which is a really big city with a lot of diversity and the most diversity I've ever seen in a place. And I lived in Los Angeles most of my life. What I started realizing was so many people are so afraid of cities like New York because they think they're unsafe. Well, here's one of the most interesting facts. New York is one of the safest cities in the world.
Interesting.
But what it is it often makes you uncomfortable. Because there's so many things that are disorienting about it. It's big and boisterous and lots of different people, languages, and there's no jaywalking laws, and so
wow,
it's really an interesting place. And what I started realizing is what makes us cling to our biases is our desire for comfort. We want to reinforce what we already know because we want the familiar. Because oftentimes the unfamiliar seems unsafe. So we often say to people, make a distinction between what is uncomfortable and what is unsafe. And there may be times for our faith that we've got to step into things that are truly unsafe, that they might be truly risky. But most of the time, getting rid of our biases is about widening a perspective into ways that might just be uncomfortable.
So the next question is then, how do we really kind of do that, widen our perspective? Are there strategies or tips or tactics for widening our perspective?
Well, there's two things that come to mind immediately. One is to think about how might I get more diverse voices in my life, or get more diverse perspectives in my life? Once you take a look, do I listen to the same voices? Do I read the same voices? The algorithms of our social media feed are meant to feed us the same things, because that actually, it's so comforting to us. We have a tendency to buy things and pursue things and consume things. So what we have to do is intentionally widen our perspective, add different views, add different voices, make different friends. It takes something to do that. And one of the things I often say in coaching to folks is, if you want your life to get bigger, then say yes to something that feels scary. If you need it to go deeper, well, then say no to something that's new. You got to balance going deeper and getting bigger. And deeper without getting bigger can get really narrow and really and just saying yes to lots of things can be pretty shallow. There's a discernment in there.
And what would you say, last question here, what would you say is the benefit of widening our perspective, especially in regard to leading change?
Well, it's two things. For me, there's nothing that is more energizing than learning new things, like discovering. I'm a huge believer that leaders need more humility and more curiosity. What we want to do is be experts, that our idea wins and that we don't have to change our mind. And that actually over time gets stale, and it actually gets dangerous. And so what we need to do is understand that we will stay more vibrant, more alive. We'll become more competent in the world, more confident in the world. It's the reason why, things like travel are so powerful. Putting yourself in an environment to listen to voices you've never heard before.
Right.
I'll give you a tiny example.
Yeah.
In New York, the guys who cut my hair were from Uzbekistan.
Wow.
Uzbekistan. I'd never met anybody from Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Marcus, I didn't know where Uzbekistan was.
I know.
Afghanistan, Pakistan.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
4 or 5 haircuts later, I learned a lot about their lives and about their perspective and what it was like to be a 20-year-old who had to flee Kiev into New York and try to make a living.
Crazy. Yeah.
Totally different perspective than anything I'd ever heard before.
Yeah.
And that happened just because I was getting my hair cut.
Yeah.
And I just asked a question about a guy who spoke a language that I didn't understand.
Yeah. And was that intentional on your part that you wanted to?
Yeah. I mean, I needed a haircut.
Sure.
But what I really realized was, is he was talking a language I didn't understand. I just asked him, what language are you speaking?
Yeah.
And he thought for a second because he speaks 6.
Wow.
And then so pretty soon I became curious and I realized, oh, I know nothing about this person's life or perspective. And it became really interesting to me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. Well, here's a quote one more time from Erin Devers. She said, "One of the strategies for reducing bias is to go bigger, to widen your perspective."